If you had to say to someone whether they should qualify for a mortgage now and wait for rates to go down, or wait for rates to go down and then qualify, what would you tell them and why?
So we just had this conversation at a discussion we led earlier this morning at Camp Pendleton. And one of the questions that was asked was exactly that. How far or what timeline should I start the process of getting approved? And I told them, realistically, if you want to purchase a house within a year, 3 to 4 months is when you should start, assessing your situation, start running some numbers, sitting down with the professional, because that gives you a runway to fix anything that needs to be put into place. Budget according to now that you know your payments and you know what your monthlies could be. But more importantly, it gives you the ability to be flexible, to shop without pressure, and really put yourself in the scenario where you can submit offers where they're going to benefit you in the best way possible. What I mean by that is that if there's 10 people competing for one house, chances are you're not going to get the best terms or the terms that you'd like. But if you're prepared and you're consistently shopping and you go out there and you see a house that fits your price, fits your box, and there's not much competition, you could snag a deal real quick. Instead of waiting to get approved, waiting for rates to drop, you can now move into that property, and then down the line you can refinance, get your rate to drop. So I would say start sooner rather than later. And for me, it's 3 to 4 months out.
So I agree with that, and I have a different spin on it, but it's kind of the same thing, but maybe with a different wrapper. It is, look, if rates are, let's say, at their highest they have been and will be for the foreseen future, and property values have stabilized, neutralized, flattened, then see if you can get approved now. Because if this is, let's say, the peak of the threshold of what it takes to get qualified, and things only get better, meaning the prices might stay the way they are, or slight dips here and there, and also rates go down in the future, well, then that only makes it better for you. That makes it better for you on two fronts. If you are approved for $800,000 right now with a 7% rate, well, when rates go to 6.5%, then you can afford $800,000 for less monthly money. Or you get a 6.5 rate future, and you can now afford 825 or 845 or something that's commensurate to the lower monthly payment. So in either way you slice it, the advantage is to know what you're working with right now, and then whether you choose to take action on that is on you. And that's fine that it's on you, but at least know. I'm saying go in armed and ready versus waiting and then maybe later finding out that you could have done something sooner. And that we have seen before because people were afraid to ask.
No, 100%. And knowing your budget is powerful because then it allows you to only shop for houses that fall within your budget and not look for houses that you fall in love with that down the line you're not able to purchase and then you get discouraged. And on top of that, having a pre-approval really puts perspective for you to be able to strike while the iron is hot. So meaning that if a property's out, you're ready to buy it, you can submit an offer right away rather than waiting maybe a week to get pre-approved and then that house is gone. So it really puts you in a position to be flexible, be quick, and move accordingly depending on how quick you want to get the property.
This brings up another great point. I didn't know you were going to say that. But this brings up another great point, which is not everybody has the same time urgency or time isn't always the top priority for why they're moving. If I have a job change or I'm moving to a new city that's marked with a start date for something, yeah, I have a time issue. If I'm just trying to stay around this neighborhood and I already live here and I got my eyes out for the right place, I don't care when it shows up because I'm willing to wait for 30 days if it's that short. I'm willing to wait for 9 months, 12 months, 18 months if it takes that long because I'm not under time pressure. So I think there's a use case where if time is on your side, then you should still find out now if you can qualify, and then you get to be selective.
Yeah.
I think that's a great option. If you don't, then you absolutely have to get qualified sooner. You have to use the 3 to 4 month rule like Brian's talking about, because if you have something that's in your life that's waiting for you to start somewhere else by September 1st, by October 1st, that process technically starts right now in the month of July.
No, and let's stick on that scenario. I think that's such a really good example you bring up because there's a lot of people right now that want to buy another house but are in that same situation where it's like, I don't want to move unless I find the house that, allows me to take these golden handcuffs off and move into the next property. And I feel that if you are waiting around for that property to just pop up and you're not pre-approved or ready to strike when that opportunity comes, someone else is. And someone else is going to get that house in your own neighborhood because you weren't ready. Now, I understand you don't want to get approved because you don't want to run your numbers or you don't want to run your credit right away. That's okay. You could do a soft credit pull and still wait for you to, for that property to come up. But the good thing is that once you're pre-approved, your mindset is going to change already because you're like, oh, I'm approved. I can buy that. I know I can buy that. So by default, you're already going to be speaking to the community, talking to people and figuring out how that property is going to come out. other way around, if you're not approved, if it pops up, your neighbor puts their house up on the market. Let's say somebody already knew that a month ago. They were looking at that property. Boom, they're just waiting for the house to hit the market. Whereas you, it hit the market. Let me go get it pre-approved. Open house that weekend, gone by Monday.
I want people to begin thinking about what they need to do in their scenario and in their life now so that they're ready when the iron is hot. They can strike when the iron is hot. Because if you do have a credit issue that needs to be resolved, let's say there's an error on your credit report. Well, that might actually take a couple of weeks or an entire month or a full billing cycle before it's rectified on the bureau side so that your credit then qualifies you. That's kind of issue number one. Mm-hmm. The other thing is, it's boring for us to talk about all the nuances of loan approvals. I want to talk about what people need to be thinking about, why they need to be thinking about it, and how to frame their decision-making in when to find you, when to find Will, what scenarios need to be prioritized based on their situation, not the situation that the paper might just say. It's what's most relevant in your life that needs to happen, that the game plan needs to be put around. And when you find us here talking about this and all these articles and the economy and all that, this is all to provide some contextualization so you can go, oh, this is this, that's that. How close or far am I from those things? And what choices do I have to make? And how do I make those with these people so that I can get the thing that I ultimately want?
I want to believe that everybody, if they had the opportunity to purchase a house without any obstacles, they would. And I feel that a lot of people would if they had the right information in front of them. But I think the situation starts brewing in your head when, you were living in an apartment complex, there's no parking, you only have one parking, it's tough to get parking. When you're renting and you don't have enough room, you have a baby on the way, and now it's time to think like, hey, do I really want to stay in this one room apartment with a baby on the way? Yeah, I have a good job. Yeah, we've been saving some money, but now it's not just about saving the money, it's about creating a space for my child to grow up in and be able to call home. So I think it's those decisions that, it doesn't really matter about the money, although it does. It's more about what can I do to build this house for my family? What can I do to better my situation? And I think that if you look at your situation and you're not where you want to be, and for people that, believe that home is, the biggest thing in their life, I think that you need to start aligning yourself, your thoughts, and asking yourself, what can I do to put myself in the position or give myself the opportunity to then be able to purchase a house? Because if we fall in the mindset of, I can't, I never can, my Theo couldn't, my aunt couldn't, they said it's too hard, I need this credit, you're already disqualifying yourself based on thoughts that you're eluding yourself. Nobody else told you that. But I just really feel that if you change your mindset and say, how can I align myself with the opportunity to learn, the opportunity to, be able to buy a house, it's not going to happen right away. But if you keep drilling that in your head, it's going to come one way or another. You're going to get a spark of a thought. You're going to get someone that brings something up. Something somehow is going to happen. You're going to be like, I think I know how I need to do it. But it's conditioning your mind and aligning yourself with being able to put yourself in those positions.
The way I look at it is don't handcuff yourself to other people's outcomes.
Yes.
Don't handcuff your aspirations to other people's outcomes. Find out for yourself by asking the right questions. Think about how you need to think about. And that's the thing that I had to learn in my adult years. No one taught me when I was in my 20s. I learned this in my 30s, is think about what you're thinking about. If you don't take time to stop and think about what you're thinking about and think about how you're thinking about it, you're going to be stuck in these cycles behaviorally and maybe financially and in the decision-making process that are just going to spin you in circles like a carousel or a merry-go-round. And what you're really looking for is over there, down the next street, across the tracks, whatever you want to call it. So I would say just be very, very careful. Do not handcuff your aspirations to other people's outcomes and think about what you are thinking about when it comes to this.
No, that's so good. And it's so true. It's like you never think about what you think about, but you have to start thinking about it.
It's one of the benefits of being an old man, Brian. Sometimes you learn some stuff that you can share with others.
Yeah, I'm having all these aha moments as I'm getting older.